On this episode of the Get Fed podcast, we're going to talk about how consistency is less about doing the same things over and over again and more about managing the unexpected. See you there. I'm JB, master presenter, former Fortune 50 sales executive, and your guide for everything sales and productivity.
I'm the doctor, Dr. Andre Caruso, a clinical psychologist and your resident expert in behavior, mindset, and wellness.
We hope you're hungry.
It's time to get fed by JB and the doctor.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Get Fed podcast. I'm JB, your host for the day, and I am excited to be talking to you about consistency. We hear about this all the time, and consistency is interesting. And I say that because consistency to me is one of these concepts that when you look at social media, when you look at influencers and experts, a lot of what you hear is kind of this generic, hey, consistency is about discipline. It's about doing the same things over and over again, even when we don't have motivation. And I agree that there is an aspect to consistency that is all about showing up and doing things that need to get done on a daily basis. I get that. My problem with it is it's like looking at consistency in a vacuum because there is an assumption there that the day is going to allow you to go ahead and do the same things over and over again in almost like a clinical setting, even where it's, hey, I absolutely can and will do it a certain way, this way, every day, ongoing, and I'm going to see tremendous results. That's not life. And I got to imagine that any of you listening have experienced this personally where life throws us curveballs. I mean, truly, consistency isn't so much about doing the same thing day in and day out. Although that's what we think about and it's what we've really been trained to think, and it's what we hear about all the time. To me, consistency is about managing the unexpected. Because here's the thing, every day we show up and we have a plan, and life laughs at us. What we plan and what we think we control is greatly outside of our control. Got to go to a meeting? What kind of traffic are you going to hit? Is there a car accident? You can plan to be somewhere early and still be late. You could give yourself a great cushion, a 20-minute cushion, a buffer that anybody would say is fantastic, and you'd still be late depending on the circumstances that come up. And so this is where consistency is about managing the unexpected. It is about adaptability. It's the ability to say, what has come up? What kind of curveball am I dealing with? And how do I go ahead and how do I manage this? Right? How do I pivot here so I can still show up consistently in my values or with my purpose? It's about mindset. How do I manage to the change in the expected versus the unexpected? How do I overcome the adversity? How do I have resilience to manage to this? And so for me, it's this really interesting difference between the clinical, the academic of consistency, which is what everybody talks about, and then the reality, the messy, the dirty, the in the mud truth that is consistency, where we don't know what's going to happen, except that we can expect that some unexpected things will happen. And we've all experienced this in some way, shape, or form. I speak from this personally, and something that came to mind with this was because we just came off of winter break. And anybody who has kids know winter break is like a 2 to 3 week window where you've got to juggle family, holidays, the stress that goes along with that, but also no school, no daycare, so on and so forth. And then we had the great joy of starting off the week here with a holiday. So even after 2 to 3 weeks, we don't have a full week back. We've got another day. And then, of course, because I have a child in daycare, and some of you might be able to appreciate this, it doesn't even take a week for my son to come home with a sickness and not be able to go to daycare again. And how does that impact my day and my consistency? And that's where the mindset matters. That's where the adaptability matters. That's where it matters to think about emotional regulation and how do I deal with this, to think about flexibility and resource management, right? How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to problem solve this? And this is what consistency about. So consistency is dimensional. There are so many dimensions to this. It's about the adaptability. It is about the mindset. It's about the problem solving and the resource management. What do I no longer have at my disposal that I thought I had at my disposal? It is about being resilient. It's about being willing to get in the mud, get freaking dirty, and figure out how you're going to get out of it. And if you can do that, that is the secret to consistency. And I truly believe the best owners, the best professionals, the best of us out there, we've gotten really good at managing to the unexpected. And it's why it's the key to being consistent. So as you go into this week, I want you to think about not what could go wrong, because you'll never be able to guess. But I want you to think about what has happened to you recently that derailed your intentions. What has happened that impacted your plan, your goals, your process? And how did you take something so clinical and so academic, and then how did you actually execute on it in real life? Tell me that. That's what I want to know. And I think you might be surprised. You might be surprised to find out, wow, I really am capable of adapting quickly. I did a really good job with my problem solving and my resource management. I was great with my mindset. Or you might just find out, oof, I tanked. I struggled with this one. And it'll give you some insight. It'll help you figure out, do I have something anomalous here where this unique set of circumstances really threw me off my game? Or is there maybe a pattern that I can identify where I do struggle with the problem solving, the crisis management, the resource management, the mindset, the adaptability, my flexibility? I'm struggling with one of these things. And if you are, it'll give you a chance to work on something and get a little bit better in the future. And that's my hope for you today. So if you got something powerful out of this, if you learned something from this conversation, do me a favor, like, subscribe, follow, share this so other people can hear some of what we talk about on a regular basis. And stay tuned. Next week, it'll be either myself, the doc, or potentially even the both of us sharing you something that you can chew on and get a little better at in the future. I'm JB, and I'm out.